Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. It's been a while. Well, it feels like it's been a while. It feels rusty. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button. Give us a hand. We appreciate all your support in growing this channel. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Also, check us out on Discord and Reddit, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We got CFL talk, some Bomber talk, Winnipeg Jets talk, a little bit of NHL talk, and a sprinkle of NFL. But let's start with the Bombers and CFL. Some interesting comments from the BC Lions. Thoughts on the Lions not unhappy about driving up Oliveira's price tag. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a weird sentence.
I know.
Not unhappy.
Struggling with it.
Big
Not
deal.
unhappy.
Yeah. The thing to me is, did they drive it up, or did Brady have a price anyways for the Bombers that they met eventually, right? Yes, he was offered more in BC, but if they drove up the price, I would think that Brady would have taken more to re-sign back in Winnipeg than what he did. So I don't think they actually really drove up the price. Let them think, I guess, that they did. It's not bad for the league for running backs to start getting paid this way either. Brady's a dominant player in this league, so he's getting paid probably less than what he could have, obviously, right? Because he got 700,000 over 3 years in BC, right? And even Hamilton offered him a pretty lucrative deal. So I don't know if they drove up the price or not, but we'll let them think that, I guess. But good for the league and good for Oliveira and the Bombers.
Yeah, definitely. No need to be offended, Bomber fans. It's the business of the game. I don't think there's any kind of collusion. And hey, can you bargain with me so I can get my price a little? No, there's none of that. It was just, it is what it is. If BC got him, then they got him, and they have to pay him that money. But at the same time, he is the most, what do you call it? The in receiving and running, dual threat offensive weapon. Holy cow! It took me a time to search that one. He's number one in the league without a shadow of a doubt. 2,000 yards combined, no problem. So there's an expectation that there will be a push for his talent, and he eventually left money on the table, like you said, to be at home. You know, without a doubt that he might make it back up being at home.
Which is interesting also, right? Because yes, he probably has a chance to make more money signing with the Bombers, playing as a Bomber his whole career, with deals and other stuff than he would going somewhere else. But it is for a running back, they sometimes only have a few good years before their body starts to take a toll and the injuries start to hit him. Andrew Harris did well at avoiding that for the most part. We'll see if Oliveira can, because sometimes you want to take that 3-year deal instead of the 2. But we all know the CFL. A lot of these contracts aren't guaranteed, and very little of it is. So if you have a drop off, they'll be quick to cut you, no problem. So for Oliveira, I think it was the best deal, even if it was less money for him to stay in Winnipeg, anyways.
No, well, shadow of doubt. Well, shadow of doubt. You're a CFL scout, CFL Combine going on right now. Which 3 players in the Combine would you build if you could just choose them? Which ones impressed you most? We'll go 1-1. I'll go first. I'm going to start with the defensive line. Daniel Okpoko from San Diego State. Dude's 6'5". He has the length, but he can play inside and outside. It'd be great to one day perhaps see him and Anthony Bennett just be the stalwarts of a defensive line, 2 Canadians holding it down. So that'd be my first one.
Yeah, I'll start on the defensive line too. I know we both like our O lines and D lines and trenches there, right? Luke Brubaker, another defensive lineman. Some stats that pop out from him is his wingspan, 10 feet 6 inches. In the combine, had a very good college career as well, and as well vertical jump 38 inches. So that's pretty damn good to get his wingspan plus that vertical in there to be knocking some balls down.
That's some good agility.
Yeah, for big guys too.
There seems to be a lot of talk of depth in this Canadian draft. So, and it's not just, now it's 2-3 years down the road where these guys are getting good. Some of these guys are being able to step in and play well. For my number 2, I'm going to go with Kyle Herger. And you're going to have to kind of take a shot with him with Boston College because he might get a chance at an NFL shot. Dude showed great agility in his pro day, and he could be like the next Brendan Revenberg. Dude's a little bit shorter, but he's still coming in at 315. So he can be one of those dudes where you plug him in the middle and he's there for a long time. So I think in one of these 3 picks, I'm going to take a risk on a guy that might have a shot at getting looked at the NFL.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys there that didn't end up attending the combine because they're getting prepared for the NFL draft, and there's a good chance that they end up getting drafted in the NFL or picked up even as a free agent. So, there's tons of guys there. So I ended up going with a guy who's looking towards the CFL draft, and that's the offensive lineman Nathaniel Dumoulin Duguay. Hopefully, I said that right. Another big guy on the O line. It was very impressive this weekend as well, showing what he can do. So, Bombers are looking for a guy, and I do believe this draft is as well very strong for offensive linemen, right? So, dude was impressive at the bench press, finishing, I guess not finishing, but ending up third in the bench press there. So he's a guy to look at that, will enter the CFL draft, and maybe they can pick him up.
What do they have to bench press in rep? Is it 215 or more than that? If it's more,
there, but I think it's more than 215.
I couldn't even do one. I couldn't even do one. No way. I'm not gonna lie to you. Who's your third?
Hold on here. I just switched screens for a second. DB, and his numbers were impressive when I was looking at it. And yes, DB is not a spot that you're really going to build around, but Benjamin Labrosse had some impressive numbers when I was taking a look at stuff that he did over the weekend. And yeah, it's not one of those spots, but vertical jump was, 38. It was a lot higher. Very fast player for the CFL. And his other measurables were very good as well. And he was the top in almost a lot of these rankings, or at least the top 5 in a lot of these rankings. So very impressive guy. And the wingspan on him too is huge, and the speed. So
we are thinking the same way on building Canadian cores here. I got a DB too, because it's been seeming lately that there are more elite starting Canadian DBs, especially at the safety position. So I'm going to take a linebacker / safety in Malik Straker. Just seems that Bombers would have a great maybe fill in at Sam linebacker or a nickelback. So yeah, I think I'd go with a DB as well. He played linebacker, but could probably also play safety, and you need depths at safety because who knows how many years Brandon Alexander will still be with the Bombers. And shoot, Malik Straker.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you could find a running back somewhere in here, Oliveira type of player, or even a wide receiver that you can fit in right away, those would be my other positions that you're kind of looking at as well. But I couldn't find anyone that I was more impressive than these guys I took a look at. So be fun. It's a deep draft. The Bombers have 3 picks in the top 20-ish or so.
That's pretty dope.
That's
pretty awesome.
They can fill in some pieces there, and they got guys. They don't need these guys to come in right away unless you find a magnificent right tackle in this draft, right? No. You don't need guys to come in and start right away.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to Chad Kelly and his online rant. This guy needs to shut it down. Just shut it down. Be quiet on the socials. He's embarrassing the team. He's embarrassing the league, and he's embarrassing himself. He's supposed to be the next face of the league, the next generation of good quarterbacks. So he's just got to stop it. Don't DM people. Don't give anyone any kind of fuel so they have more. Just don't. And he needs to wake up. Maybe move in with Pinball Clemens. Maybe bring him in your home or something, because it's getting ridiculous, man. Jeez.
Question for you, though, before I even say anything on this. What was he actually ranting about? And who is he talking about?
Nonsensical. Is it really worth going down the rabbit hole of who he was talking to? Can we just admit that it was ridiculously? I can't even say the word.
I'm starting to think that he actually needs help, and he could possibly be mentally unstable. This is not the first time he's went on a rant. He went on a rant on Twitter, not on video, but a long time, or when his NFL days were basically done, ranting that he was a lot better than some of the players that were making it and all this other kind of stuff. But like you say, he needs to shut it down. Argos need to shut him down. He's under investigation already. Doing stuff like this is not going to help anything at all, guilty or not. But yeah, he needs to stop. And this is not good for the CFL, which sucks because we were looking forward to this guy maybe being the face and the future of the CFL last year after he had that great season until the playoff meltdown. But now it's like, take a step back, man. We got to find somebody else. This guy's not it. He's not the future. And he's just a mess.
Yeah. How many chances do you give this dude? When is the last straw?
This should almost be it. right? This should have been it. And if he's guilty of what he's
Oh,
accused
yeah,
of, then that's definitely over. But
without
right
a doubt.
now, you have to shut this guy down somehow, put him on some kind of exempt list, suspended list, and wait for everything to play out and see what
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, this guy can't. The training camps are starting in what, 2 months? Less than 2 months? You can't have this guy being a distraction and coming to camp like that. It's not
No.
good for the league.
Chad Kelly, come on now. Let's go. We're cheering for you. We're
We
cheering for
were,
you. We
we
want
were,
another great
yes,
quarterback.
yeah.
Come on
The
now.
the league needs it, man. Hopefully, Drew Brown can end up being that guy.
Oh,
We want to talk about a young QB coming up that's going to be good.
CFL's looking for him. CFL's looking. Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or the field, and on the field with a custom airbrush helmet or goalie mask or any kind of custom project you're looking for. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
And tell him Ray and Benny sent you.
I was talking to some people at a meeting today over sushi, and I was able to give them the number for Fahrenheit Airbrushing.
Oh, nice. They're looking for something?
They're looking for something.
No, that'd be good. Yeah, get on it. Bit of a quieter time right now. The hockey helmets are kind of wrapping up, so
Yeah,
got some free time to do whatever you want.
little man cave project. Who knows?
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets now. Let's talk about the slump. Review the slump. Thoughts, concerns? Go ahead.
Lots of concerns here, man. I mean, okay, just to step this out a bit here. Last time we had a podcast episode, they had just got beat bad by Vancouver and then beat the Caps, right? And now they went after that. They beat up Anaheim. They beat up Columbus. Easy games. Big win against the Rangers. You know, and now it's partly Hellebuyck playing very well, and Jets maybe getting away with one because the Rangers outplayed them for parts of that game.
Yeah.
After that, though, I don't know what happened, but it's been a disaster since. Losing to the Devils, they stunk against the Islanders. Better against Washington. I'll give them credit for that. But that third period was just shit. As soon as they gave up that goal, and how are you giving up? Sorry, you're on a power play, yeah, a penalty kill. You allow the Caps to move that puck around and position John Carlson in the slot of all guys to one-timer this freaking thing past Hellebuyck. What is going on there? I don't even know what's happening with this team right now. Defensively, they're a mess. They're just all over the place and getting outshot. What was it against the Islanders? The Devils in the second period, 23-9. And then the Islanders, it was 26-4. Midway through the second, I looked at my screen and I had to look at the score app to make sure that screen was right.
Yeah.
That's terrible. This is embarrassing almost.
That's unacceptable. And I think leadership comes into question here because, like, you can criticize the system, but we've seen it work. Special teams aside, which is a totally horrible thing that has not been resolved. Is there enough time in a dozen games or less to fix special teams?
I don't think so. I mean, at this point, you're not. The power play has gone back down again and has not produced. So, and the penalty kill gave up 3 power play goals against the Devils. So,
and you know what? Like, Appleton was quoted saying sometimes it takes 59 and 60 minutes, and that's kind of got to be your mindset. Well, what the hell? They got to stop using patient game, he says. Well, it's too patient now. It's time that they play scared and they have to score first because the Jets are 33-2 when they score first. And if their mentality is, oh, well, let's be patient, it could happen in the 50th and 60th minute, then they got to scrap that mentality because that garbage is not working. Start playing with the knowledge that when you score first, you are the highest winning percentage in the NHL. That's got to be the urgency at this point. And leadership on that team, whether it be the captains or the coaches or the GMs, got to come down on that. Don't worry about your corporate sponsorship right now. That's not what's driving this team. Focus on what's going on here. They got to make some major line changes. Like, speaking of Appleton, I know he scored recently, but come on.
Appleton?
What? Oh my goodness. The effectiveness there, and this feeling of malaise, and it just seems to be that's their MO right now. 59, 60 minutes, chess game. We'll see what happens. Let's glide through. We have the best goalie, whatever. Scrap that, because that garbage is not working.
So if that's the case, and he's saying about being patient, when the Jets, whenever they switch their lines, and they did it last game, they quickly switched them back. They took Kyle Connor off with Scheifele and had Scheifele, Ehlers, and Toffoli, I think, right, to start. And then by the second or whatever it was, because they couldn't score a goal, they threw Connor back on there. And it's like, give it a chance, man. Like, see what other lines can do. Stop putting, you know what? Honestly, if you're going to play Perfetti, fourth line is not the greatest spot for the guy. Let him see what he can go back in that top six. Iafallo, as much as I like the guy and what he's done this year, he's not a top six guy. And it doesn't work out all the time for him. So, yes, if you want to switch these guys around every once in a while because one's not playing well, go for it. But when you're constantly putting Perfetti on line 4 in the lineup, it's not good. And like you say, and it's funny because there's a quote from Elliot Friedman when he says this team is, and this could be right of almost any team, but when it sticks to its structure, the team is very good. But when it breaks down and they start chasing guys around, it is terrible. And they've done a lot of it with guys, even on Ovechkin's, the third goal of the game, Ovechkin's second, Sandberg left that side to go get somebody else and left that side wide open, which allowed Ovechkin to get the puck and deke out Hellebuck. It's like, what are you doing there? And Sandberg's been a pretty solid player. But the structure is broken right now, and the Jets got to get it back somehow, some way. And they got to do it quick.
And they're chasing, like you said, they're chasing the game when they're not in that structure. They've not scored first in the 3 that they've just lost now.
Yeah.
So they totally give up their structure, apparently, when they're down 1 goal. It's ridiculous. So
I was at that Nashville game, and for 2 periods I sat behind Hellebuck, and I watched Dylan and Pionk basically get abused in that game. And it almost Nashville, their first goal was almost like a long ball in soccer. They just dumped it up along the boards. Dylan missed it. Guys got behind them and they scored. And it's just like, what is happening, right? Yeah. And then you're watching Pionk lately, and the guy just has no sense. He was -4, and I know a lot of people hate plus minus, but -4 for me for a defenseman in a game is pretty telling. Because it's not like he just stepped on the ice one time and they scored. No, he was on the ice the whole time and either got caught out there and just couldn't get it out, but he needs to be sat. If you're going to sit Ehlers, you're going to sit Perfetti, it's time for Pionk to sit.
He's been directly, never mind plus minus, and I still believe in that stat. He's been directly responsible with his positioning and lack of defensive awareness, maybe.
Yeah,
that he has been the direct responsibility for multiple goals, maybe 3 or 4, hence the -4. I don't know. You brought in Miller, Schmidt, put him in already. Playing with Sandberg, they were like, just make the bloody moves to change this defense because it's not working. And same with the forwards. Was Appleton on line 1 last game?
He started there. Maybe that's who it was. Appleton started there, not
Toffoli on the top line already.
Toffoli was there afterwards. Yes, that's right.
Let him play the whole time. Put Niederreiter on the second line. Put Nemestikov on the 4th line already. Is Kapari hurt?
I don't think so. No, he's just not getting any playing time.
Put that Swiss Army knife in that can play different up and down the line. Like, come on. Like, just try to watch this disaster. Really? You can do that from behind the bench and not do nothing about it? Give me a break.
Yeah, why did you trade for Colin Miller if you're not even going to throw him in the lineup here and there when guys are struggling? Like, Pionk's been struggling for this past week.
Yeah.
But you continue to give him more chances. Give him a break. Sit him down. Throw Colin Miller in there, see what he can do, and if he can solidify even that second pairing at all. Because Dylan and Pionk, oh, man, have they been a disaster.
It's been
I've used that word too much already.
I know, but it's true. What else is it? So we've answered a lot of questions. I'm going down here. Can we count on Vilardi? Just going off. Can we count on Vilardi being back before the playoffs?
Speaking of Vilardi, like, was he the guy that held this all together? Like, when Kyle Connor was out, they kept winning. It's like they didn't miss Connor. Yes, they didn't score a lot in some of those games, but they were winning. Scheifele went out, they started to lose. Connor came back. Now Vilardi's been out for this long, and they've been so inconsistent. Like, is Vilardi the guy that's been holding this all together?
That's why I put someone with a little size like Nino in there up there. Put him, give him a little more minutes.
And it is concerning now. What is wrong with him at this point? Is he going to be back? Is he going to even be reliable or counted on or trusted that he can play a whole playoff series? I love this trade for Dubois, but I'm starting to think that, hey, LA didn't. Yeah, besides LA giving Dubois that contract right now, it's like almost an even kind of trade in the sense that the Jets aren't getting anything out of these guys. The only albatross is that contract right now for Dubois.
They're not playing Kupari, that's for sure.
No, and Iafallo is they're asking too much of Iafallo. Iafallo was not the guy to come in and play in your top six or your top line
No,
and score goals. So
and neither should Appleton. Like
no.
even the thought when you have guys like Niederreiter and Toffoli, like
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Niederreiter has never been really tried up there at all. He's been kept with Lowry the whole time, and it's Appleton the guy that keeps going up and down, which to me doesn't make much sense. Keep the guy on the third line if you want to do anything with the guy.
absolutely.
He's had chances. That guy has chances after chances, and he just can't score. Like it's just not there. The touch is not there.
No, I don't think they can count on Vilardi when he's in the game for full effort, but he's just been snake button for years, and that's before, like you said, before he came to the Jets with his back injury. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Are we going to give out a star performer for that performance last week?
can I give it to Nemesnikov? Is that allowed even?
Yeah, I give it to him.
Just because I don't think I've ever given it to him before, and I hope that I don't know if I'll give it to him again. So I'll just say, him scored a goal, constantly in motion, always involved in play, efficient play. Like I don't care about Corsi or whatever graphs are, but when I my eye test, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Shifley just because it was one good game and one against the Rangers there with the hat trick and the great effort on I think on the second goal to basically create that whole thing. But other than that, it wasn't a great week for anyone else really.
So what happens when you go on a rant? You just answer all the questions that you have. Is it time for the Jets to sit Pionk? Yep.
Yeah.
Are the lines the Jets running the most optimal?
Nope.
Nope. We've already talked about that. Should we move on to quick shots, or have we not covered anything that we just ranted on?
Nope. Now we need to answer what do the Jets need to do to get back to winning?
I don't even want to think about next week. Like they have to obviously play their structure and they have to score first. I've said that already. Like on my little rant there, and they have to change their lineups because that's what we talked about. So I don't know how much more I can add without losing my voice right now, my friend.
Yeah, then it's true. I mean, you got the Oilers on Tuesday, you got Vegas on Thursday, the Sens who they always struggle with on Saturday, and then the Kings who are playing very well tonight against Vancouver even and playing for a playoff position on Monday, I believe. So it's a tough week. I know Edmonton's lost their last two games, struggled in both those against Toronto and Ottawa, but they're still a dangerous team. You got to get it, and to score goals, like you're saying, their goaltending is obviously their weak link, and you got to get at that goaltending quick. Vegas, we're seeing they're playing very well, so it's not going to be easy. The Jets never have an easy time. So,
yeah. I just saw Edmonton play live, and they are ridiculous. Zach Hyman is fun to watch. Never mind Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. That team is, if they can play even basic structured defense, they are dangerous, and the Jets might be in big trouble if they haven't figured it out.
It'll be an interesting game watching these teams' last two games. Like Edmonton just beat up on Buffalo and then lost to Toronto and Ottawa. Winnipeg beat up on Anaheim and that. And then, stunk to three teams that weren't, or one team in the playoffs, and the other one's fighting for a spot. So they got to get that power play going. Obviously, we talked about keep Ehlers and Scheifele together. Drop Connor down. Put Toffoli on that top line, or like you say, even Niederreiter. Somebody try something different and try it for a whole game. You know, and sit Pionk. That's my other thing. And I don't know. Hopefully, Vilardi miraculously comes back in this 5-game homestand.
And what they're missing with Vilardi. And sorry, I have not watched every minute of the last two games, but what it feels like they're missing with Vilardi is someone who does plant their ass in front of the net and is a disruption within the other team's zone or in the offensive zone. And that's huge because that also gives a lot of space for Ehlers or Connor to play around and Scheifele to set stuff up. Like, man, they are missing him, but they should try to fill that role with someone who can play that as well.
Toffoli did that in his first couple of games. He was a menace in front of that net.
He's great. Put him on the first line and stick to it.
Yeah, I don't know where that's been. And that's the thing. Fine for these other guys who have played most of the season here together. Toffoli and Monahan have it. So now we continually switch their lines around. These guys are never going to become comfortable or get that chemistry like Stastny did with Line A and Ehlers, back in 2017 there, or 2017-18, right? These guys will not get it before the playoffs. So there's 10 games left, 11 games left. Like it's time to figure this out before we get to that playoff. Otherwise, we're in the same spot as we were for the last few years, where the second half swoon comes in, takes over the team, and it's going to be a first round exit. Plus, they're going to drop to a wild card. Nashville's only 5 points away or whatever.
They're zooming right now.
Oh, jeez.
And like, yeah, like where is the leadership? Where, like,
Yes.
obviously, I'm not in the room. I'm not in the dressing room after the post game, but they talk about like Josh Morrissey just blankly staring about like where's the passion on the bench? Where is that? You know, they had that early in the year when they're so you see Lowry yelling at these mofos, let's get it going. Where is that? Ugh.
And this is what a lot of people were worried about, bringing back the core of Scheifele and all these guys again, because you know what, I gave Paul Maurice a whole bunch of shit for what he trotted out, but maybe he couldn't get through these guys because they had their own way, and that's so they're sticking to it. Maybe with Bones too. Sometimes it works because he gets through it, and then other times it's not, and they play crappy out there. But maybe it is that core and the leadership group that needs to look at themselves and pull themselves out of it and pull this team out of it. You know,
Yeah.
Can you bring Bufflin back for the end?
No, he's fishing and winning trophies. He doesn't need this. Give me a break. Winnipeg Jets fans, put your comments down below. Ottawa, they will be a struggle as they always are. And like you say, the Kings are feeling pretty good right now. So
it would be a fun homestand.
Oh man, kind of wish I was there.
It'll be telling.
And I'm in Edmonton right now. Should I really wear that jersey around the streets? We'll see.
No, you got to wear it tomorrow at least.
I don't need that kind of harassment. And last time I wore it. They got shut out. So
all right, wait till Wednesday then.
Man. Let's go to quick shots. Hip drop tackle take. Like, I don't know what this is. This is a bunch of nonsense. Like, the only way to prevent this from happening is to tackle a person who is stationary. And even then, it's not 100%. Owners, what a joke rule. 100% trash.
No, especially if a guy's diving at a guy. Obviously, his body's going to swing. What was he supposed to do? You know? So, yes, the NFL, I don't know where they went off on this one. These guys are going to get flagged for it. They're going to end up getting penalized or fined. I mean, if it's deemed that it was a hip drop tackle, why are they going to give it a tackle? Let the guy just score.
It's ridiculous. If you're the Patriots, are you taking a QB or are you trading down in the draft?
You know what? I think I'm going to trade down. I don't know a lot about these QBs. I know some of them, there's a lot of hype, but there was a lot of hype, you know, in the Trey Lance draft, and that turned out to be a disaster too. So if I'm them, I trade down and get a haul for this. If you can get something like the Dolphins did from the Niners, great deal, and then you can find your QB later on.
Yeah, they're in full rebuild. They don't have a roster that's close enough to even being competitive. You will ruin a first-year quarterback unless you sit him on the bench, and you might as well just start getting draft picks because you are in that full rebuild. Which NFL coach is starting the season on the hottest seat? I'm going to go Sean Payton. He got rid of Russell Wilson. He still looks like an outdated coach in regards to his mentality and being super controlling of the room. And, you know, I'll even add in Mike Tomlin if he doesn't win a playoff game. So that's hot seat for me.
Yeah, but that's a whole season Mike Tomlin will get. He's never – I can't see – unless he's 0-16, I can't see that guy getting fired in season.
He won't get fired, but that's got to be a hot seat.
Yes. Even if he makes the playoffs again?
He's got to win the playoff game. Mr. Rooney was really upset about no winning the playoff, and now you got Russell Wilson? Shoot.
I have so many on my list. I don't know who to pick. I'm going to go with Robert Saleh. Just because it's time for the Jets to win now, and if Aaron Rodgers is healthy – you got to win, and you got to take this team to at least the playoffs and some wins in the playoffs, not just a one and done kind of thing. So Robert Saleh to me, but there's a few others we can list off here.
Which CFL coach is going to start on the hottest seat?
Chris Jones. I got to go with Chris Jones here. There's only two really for me in the CFL, but I'm going to go with Chris Jones just because he's had time to build this team the way he wants it. He's, you know, gotten rid of his OC, brought in another one. So it's time for him to show that he can take this Elks team to the next level.
Yeah, Chris Jones, they brought in 3 last names. That means they need to win now.
Yes.
If they start on a home losing streak roll again, he might not get there past Labor Day. Who cares what the coaching cap is? If he doesn't have a win by Labor Day, there'll be problems. God,
yeah, he's done for sure. There's no way he's lasting that long even.
Willow Edge can break Gretzky's goal record next season?
And no, I don't think so. Depending on what he finishes with this year, but he could still need almost 40 goals next year. He's going to break this record. There's no question. He's breaking it. I don't think he's going to do it next year.
I don't think he's going to do it next year. And I don't think if he doesn't do it next year, I think he will try. And if he doesn't, I think he might just lay it down.
He would only need probably 20 goals in the next 2 seasons, right? Depending on how this year finishes. So
we'll see.
But yes, age. What is it? What's the saying? Is
Father time's undefeated.
There you go.
Shoot. Benny, have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and follow, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider. Have a good week.
And in the famous words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.